Going to have to find something to fill this space, David.
Well, there we go. Stuart Wales first through the door, then followed by Chris Fisher.
No comments yet on Facebook.
Stuart Wales first through the door, then followed by Chris Fisher.
No comments yet on Facebook, as I said. Oh, hi, Dave. Hi, Kirsty. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Ewan. Yeah. YouTube's getting busy quite quick. That's actually filling up quicker than the Facebook at this point in time.
I haven't actually got the YouTube channel. I've just got the restream thing. How many we got on YouTube so far?
Don't know, but we've got 55 on Steam so far.
Ah, right, okay.
There's 22 on Facebook, so work it out for there.
25, 22, 77.
Mm-hmm. 62, rising nicely. Hey, Akis, how are you, mate? Afternoon, Brian. Hi, Mev.
Some good names. Class action. Say.
Hope was a lawyer. Pop back onto Facebook for that. Hi, Fiona. Our Northern Ireland correspondent is watching this afternoon. Hey, Fiona, did you see that idiot Sammy Wilson in the Commons earlier? Hey, they'll need to go and try and get his cranium back down for outer space. The speaker rebuked him for a 19-minute rant. The whole time his face get redder and redder and redder and redder. It was almost exploding.
Have we made a decision on Stormont yet, David?
I haven't seen anything coming through yet, David, but Fiona will definitely keep us up to date. You know. Hey, Ginger's in the USA. Hi for the USA. Hi, Ginger. Right, we'll get 71 on board, David, so let's get this underway. Today's subject is Rushi Sunak, and who is he? So, I'm going to let David take the lead in this one, and I'll just rant when appropriate.
Haven't you a clue? Haven't you heard of the man?
Okay, we know he was born in 1980 after his parents moved to the UK, and he attended a few posh schools. Right. He went to university here in the UK and across to Stanford, where he met his wife. His wife happened to be the daughter of one of India's richest men. Mm-hmm. So we'll take it up to there.
Yeah, born in Southampton, Hampshire, to African-born Hindu parents of Punjabi descent, Yashvir and Rushi Sunak. Rishi Sunak attended Stroud School, a preparatory school in Romsey, and Winchester College, a boys' independent boarding school. Now, you might think this is boring, but in actual fact, it gets more interesting. I'll tell you why, right? Where he was head boy. He was a waiter at a curry house in Southampton during the summer holidays. He read philosophy, politics, and economics at Lincoln College, Oxford, graduating with a first in 2001. Now, that's very good, right? Okay. During his time at university, he undertook an internship at Conservative campaign headquarters, right? In 2006, he gained an MBA from Stanford University, where he was a Fulbright scholar. Now, David and I looked up this Fulbright scholar thing. It's a scholarship for people that are not in America. Yeah.
It's also a scholarship to non-white schools.
Yes, that's right.
There's 19 institutions and educational institutions in the Fulbright network, and that includes it used to be non-white schools, but it also includes MIT
Okay. Sunak worked as an analyst for the investment bank Goldman Sachs between 2001 and 2004. He then worked for the hedge fund management, the Children's Investment Fund Management, becoming a partner in September 2006. He left in 2009 to join former colleagues in California at a new hedge fund firm, Phelan Partners, which launched in October 2010 with $700 million under management. At both hedge funds, his boss was Patrick DeGorse. I can never pronounce that. He was also a director of the investment firm Catamaran Ventures, owned by his father-in-law, the Indian businessman N.R. Narayana. God, this is going to be a good one today with names. Between 2013 and 2015, right? Sunak is a Hindu, and he took his oath as an MP at the House of Commons on the Bhagavad Gita in August 2009. He married Akshata Murthy, I'll get her name right, the daughter of N.R. Narayana Murthy, the founder of the technology company Infosys. Akshata Murthy owns a 0.91 stake valued at about $900 million. That's dollars. That's 619 million pounds. In
so
April,
1% of the wait, hold on, let's roll that back. So not even 1% of the company's worth $900 million.
Correct. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That makes her one of the wealthiest women in Britain, right? In actual fact, it can be said that right now, the latest figures are that Sunak and his wife are the 222nd richest couple in Britain. Yeah, so that gives you an idea. There's quite a lot of Russian oligarchs about and things like that. Okay.
Yeah, but the richest one in Britain, as we all know, is Lord Spencer.
Yeah. Sunak was selected as a Conservative candidate for Richmond. Richmond's a rather nice wee town, by the way. I used to live just up the road from it, right? Okay. In 2014. Hooching with blooming Tories. Seriously. The Tories lying in the corner on the pavement and all the rest of it, right? They've got rich tramps in the place. That's how good it is, all right? The seat was previously held by William Hague, a former leader of the party, Foreign Secretary and First Secretary of State. The seat is one of the safest Conservative seats in the United Kingdom. I can imagine it's one of the safest seats, to be honest with you. And in Richmond, even the bloody dogs and cats are blooming Conservatives, right? Seriously, yeah. It's been held by the party for over 100 years. In the same year, Sunak was head of the Black and Minority Ethnic Research Unit of the centre-right think Policy Exchange, for which he co-wrote a report on BME communities in the UK. He was elected as the MP for the constituency at the 2015 general election with a majority of 19,550. That's 36.2%. During the 2015-2017 Parliament, he was a member of the Environment, Food and Rural Affairs Select Committee. Right? Now, I could carry on and give you a potted history of the man, right? However, that doesn't tell you who he is. And having looked through this, it is my considered opinion that he is a serial criminal because of what he's done and what he's done with his wife.
ABM Ambro, come on. He broke down. He is one of the three architects of the death of the world's fourth biggest banks. Let's no piss about at this.
Yep.
He is the guy who brought the Royal Bank of Scotland with his father-in-law to his knees.
Yep.
And he's the guy that really set the run on the banks off.
Yeah.
Northern Rock was a minnow.
Yeah.
An absolute minnow. Easy to sort out. Sunak, and who were the other two fellas?
Javid and the Kamikaze Kid.
Aye, for thanks. Between the three of them, they brought the world's fourth biggest bank to his knees.
It actually caused the credit crunch.
And who took the blame for it?
It was like dominoes, all stacked, all like that.
And who took the blame for it, David?
Yeah. Gordon Brown.
Fred Goodwin took the blame for it. Fred the Shred.
Fred the Shred, that's right. And the reason he took the blame for it, to be honest with you, I have to say quite rightly, he didn't do his due diligence. This is one thing that I need to explain to people. If you see a business that you like and you think, oh, I'm going to go and buy that, right? And it's a running business and it's doing business every day, right? You do a thing that's called due diligence. And what it is, it's where you look at to see if what the guy or the woman is saying to you that it's doing is actually doing. So in other words, if they say, oh, we made 50 million profit last year, oh, aye, right, show us the books. That's due diligence. But on a big company, it's far more complex than that. The bigger the company, the more complex due diligence is. So Fred the Shred didn't do due diligence. Now, David, can you tell me why Fred the Shred didn't do due diligence on ABN?
It was being advised by hedge fund managers, Kwasi Sunak, Savage Javid, and Rushi Sunak.
There you go. Right? So there you go, guys and gals. You have it in a nutshell. You have three players in a criminal conspiracy to divert someone away from doing something that they should have done, right? And in order to make money and bring down their bank or bring down their business. And that is the criminality. That, in a nutshell, that's effectively, that is called insider trading, because you knew what was inside that ABN AMRO. You knew it was like falling apart, and you didn't tell anybody.
That's right.
And you made money through it. So therefore, what you did was a criminal act.
Yep, between the three of them, they made £100 million.
That's right.
And who took the biggest slice?
Rishi Sunak.
How do we know that? Register of Wealth and Register of Interest in the House of Commons.
Yeah.
You know. So,
poor old Sajid Javid, he got the mutton slice at the end. But anyway, he got a few extra bits, didn't he? You know.
Well, he got a few million out of it.
Yeah. I think there was a nice printer in ABN AMRO that he managed to get a hold of, wasn't there? Anyway, right.
Everyone's got a great comment there, so I'm going to put it up. And everyone said, Kwasi did it before his budget. You're right, it was insider trading.
You have to understand that these people are showing a trait of serial criminality. And the reason they're doing that is because when they do something and they go, oh, we got away with that, right? And then they do something else and they go, oh, we got away with that. This is what's happening with this government. And you have to understand that is dangerous. That's dangerous for all of us. It's not dangerous for them because they seem to be getting away with it. Anyway, right. So, David, take that down. They can't read it, and I'll just pull bits out of it.
You got it on the other screen.
Yeah. Let's see. He backed fracking, but he supported it on the basis that local residents would support it. So, in other words, if you had some wee place that was full of Tories, and they go, well, we'd like to be fracked, please, right? Then he would support fracking in that circumstance, right? There's been a lot of to and fro in that, but effectively, the 2019 manifesto of the Conservative Party takes away the danger of fracking, because the Oil and Gas Authority found it was impossible at the time to predict the probability or strength of earthquakes caused by fracking. And they're still saying it, by the way. It was said just a few months back when Liz Truss was going for the top job. And the guy that was in charge of UK the Oil and Gas Authority.
Parliament before trust Lord Sir Joe. It was a question of Prime Minister's questions.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So.
No, but the chap was in charge of the Oil and Gas Authority in the UK. He effectively said, can't possibly guarantee there'll be no earthquakes.
Well, the British Geological Society also said that fracking in England is not practical.
Yeah, that's right.
Because of the geological makeup of England.
Right, so here we get on to maybe some more interesting stuff. And this gives you a wee bit of background with Boris, Dominic Cummings, and Sunak. In the weeks before Sunak's appointment as Chancellor of the Exchequer, press briefings suggested that a new economic ministry led by Sunak might be established to reduce the power and influence of the Chancellor Javid at the Treasury. Sunak was considered a Johnson loyalist, favoured by Johnson's chief advisor, Dominic Cummings, and was seen as the rising star that had ably represented Johnson during the 2019 election debates. In February 2020, The Guardian reported that Javid would remain in his role as Chancellor and that Sunak would remain Chief Secretary for the Treasury so that Cummings could keep an eye on Javid. Sunak was elected to the House of Commons for Richmond, North Yorkshire at the 2015 general election. No, hang on, we're going back here. Let's see if it's alluding to anything. Right. Yeah. On the 17th of March 2020, and you'll all remember this because you were on your houses, Sunak introduced a programme providing $330 billion in emergency support for businesses, as well as a furlough scheme for employees. This was the first time a British government had created such an employee retention scheme. The scheme was introduced on 20th of March 2020 as providing grants to employers to pay 80% of a staff wage and employment costs each month, up to a total of $2,500 per person per month. The cost has been estimated at $14 billion a month to run. Now then, on the business side, David, apart from the pandemic loans that were given to various businesses, right? What were they doing in England? What was the system that they introduced in England to give lumps of money to new startups?
That was the Futures Investment Funds, where 1,106 companies, which were shell companies that actually didn't trade, were given 1.1 billion. And in fact, there's the smell of crooked activity, then what does? But what's more interesting about that was Lord Agnews resigned as the fraud watchdog chief for the House of Thieves and Carpetbaggers. He was appointed to the House of Lords to make sure that there was no fraud within the schemes, the furlough scheme, the bounce back loan scheme, and the Futures Fund. And he quit because he said he couldn't police it. And what did Sunak do right after he quit? He wrote up 4.9 billion of dodgy loans.
Now that stinks, because if you want something investigating, you keep it open. You make it remain open all the time. If you want to cover things up quickly, you write it off. You get it off the books as quickly as possible. Okay.
Aye, and I want to put up this a comment for DJ, because I made this comment myself in my videos this morning. Okay, guys, do you not agree that the new PM is just another bojo with call? And I have to say, he is. He was involved in the criminality of Bojo's government.
Yeah.
And we've just talked about Lord Agnew geeing up his fraud minister because there was no way to regulate the fraud.
That's right.
There was absolutely no way of doing it. And what we've seen was an absolute huge transfer of wealth through dodgy people. And let's talk about the other things that Sunak presided over. Sunak presided over the dodgy PPE contracts for the VIP lane, which the Good Law Project took to the High Court, which was deemed to be illegal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what was the outcome of that? Nothing. Carried on. There is no public accountability.
Now, don't get me wrong. It's like, you might think we're like anti-Sunak and everything. I'm anti-Sunak because he's a Tory and because he's a criminal, right? I actually like the fact that we've got a non-Christian brown man in the top job in the UK, because that pisses off all the blooming racist blooming Tories in the Tory party that are actually UKIP, and they'll be blooming their gums over it.
Last that long. I've spoken to this today. Jake Berry sacked as chairman of the Conservative Party.
Yeah.
Sunak came in, stuck the knife in him yesterday, or so, a Braverman thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But let's get back to some of the real criminality that went on during that.
Just a wee bit on that we can. I don't know if you've heard, guys, but it's turned out that Cilla Braverman didn't try to produce guarded documents or a guarded document to someone just once. Seemingly she's done it lots and lots of times, right? And we had Zahawi on TV this morning saying, "Oh, come on, it's like everybody's entitled to a second chance."
That is only danger. What
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And as someone explained to me, when you try to send one of these guarded documents to another by an unguarded means, so in other words, it's not a government email server it's going through, it's going for your phone. The first thing that happens when you pick up the document, try to attach it to the email, a big sign comes up and says you're not supposed to do that. That's against I think it's the Official Secrets Act against, right? And she is the Home Office Minister that is in charge of the security and all the rest of it for the UK. So do I think she should go? Well, I just think she's an obtuse human being because of her remarks on people going to Rwanda. That's just what is going on in that person's head to come up with that. I dream of a picture of an aeroplane carrying the asylum seekers to Rwanda. You know,
I can tell you exactly what's going on there, David. What we have, because Sunak's just backed her, and these policies that she's on about, right, and Patel before, right. What we have, what we see here is some ethnics making it to the top of the tree and deciding that other ethnics can't get a chance, and that is an extreme form of racism.
Yeah, I know it is. Yeah, I agree with that, right? But also the other side is, why did Sunak pull her in? He must have known that there would be this kind of backlash on it, right? The reason is because Braverman was the chair of the European Research Group that Mogg was involved in and other Brexiteers were involved in. These are your disaster capitalists, right? And she had to be put into cabinet at some upper level, such as Home Office Minister, because that section of the Tory MPs that form the ERG, that are very powerful in the House of Commons, they had to be kept on side, and it had to be Braverman that went in.
And what Sunak's trying to do is appease the different factions in the party.
Yeah.
And that's what his appointments were all about.
Can I answer that one from DJ Martin? Very, very good, great question. $60,000 question or whatever you call it, right? DJ Martin, right at the top of the list there.
This one or the 104?
That's the one. Okay, there is no one high enough to hold these people to account. Yes, there is. But it's the people. It's the actual people. How are you going to do it? You're either going to vote them out, but they're hanging on to the tenure of the being in power until January 2025, I understand, is the sort of final date before they go to polls. Or you have a revolution and you rip them out of the place. But lots of people get hurt. Lots of people get killed.
David, we don't have to go that far. Of course, we will see the people in England if they get riled enough, because they're a wee bit more akin to the French than what we are. Even though we've got the old alliance, they're likely to burn their own house down in the form of civil disobedience, riots and things like that, as we've seen with the poll tax back in the day.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Whereas up here, we tend to take our civil disobedience a wee bit more peacefully.
Yeah.
You know, by mass gatherings and things like that, which and because there isn't that many, is you can have a gathering that's got 100,000, and that scares the Scottish government.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't want to see my country full of burnt out cars, burnt out buses, and burnt out buildings and all the rest of it. That is just nonsense. Anyway, get back on to Javid. Javid's a crook. He's straightforward. He's a crook, guys. Right?
Right, we're not talking about we're talking about Sunak.
Yeah, Sunak. Sorry, Sunak.
Yeah, but you're right. Davies is a crook. He was one of the guys involved in the bringing down of the Royal Bank of Scotland.
Yeah, run these teeth into my dog, as he says.
But David, let me expand a wee bit on that. Right now, what happened in 2007?
The SNP became
a minority SNP government in Scotland.
Yeah, that's right.
Right,
and the crash.
What happened to and these three English bankers? Sorry, well, you can call them English bankers.
It's killing me.
These three English bankers set about trying to bring down the fourth biggest bank on the planet, setting off the financial crisis.
Yeah.
Because, let's face it, we were heading towards independence.
Yeah.
And at that time, the Royal Bank of Scotland was one of the most trusted and one of the biggest institutions on the planet.
Yeah. That's right.
Now, the Royal Bank of Scotland's owned by I think it's the Barclays Group, is it?
Is it not NatWest?
No, NatWest is under the Barclays label and all.
Is it? Right. It's hard to keep up in it when they all keep changing it.
What happened to the Bank of Scotland? They ended up under the Halifax label.
That's right. Yeah.
So what happened was, after the 2008 crash, Scottish banking institutions ended up in English ownership.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But not to worry.
A wee bit deeper into what went on.
Yeah. Anyway, the Future Fund. Let's talk about that. The Future Fund is a 1.1. This was the Future Fund given to businesses, where businesses took the money and then literally folded the day after. Right? It was a 1.1 investment portfolio set up by Sunak in May 2020 and managed by the British Business Bank. The fund invested in 1,190 mainly early-stage companies at the height of the coronavirus pandemic. One director overseeing the portfolio described the companies as mostly zombie businesses.
Shell companies. Yeah. They were registered, but they didn't trade.
Well, no. In actual fact, when you set a company up, right, you can actually tell the company's house that you're just going to. It's going to sit there and do nothing for the next year or whatever.
That's right. That's what a shell company is. It sits there. I've got two of them sitting in Edinburgh, David.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I
still trading as McGuinness Transport and McGuinness Logistics a long time ago, but the two companies are still registered, and I still keep up in case I want to go and buy some more trucks.
What annoys me is that at the time, none of us knew what was going to happen in the future, right? So I took a bounce back loan. It wasn't a very big one, but I took a bounce back loan just as extra money to keep in the treasury chest, just in case, right? The number of hoops that I had to jump through to get that bounce back loan was unbelievable, right?
If I remember right, you also told me there were stipulations what you could spend it on.
Yes, that's right. In actual fact, here's the trick. With the bounce back loans, if you're in a situation where you spend it, let's say you fancy a new motor and you've got like a bounce back loan of like 20 grand. Oh, I quite fancy that. You spend that, they charge you tax on it, and it's taxed at the highest level, right? Whereas if you hang on to it and just let it sit there, do nothing, like basically I've done, it's just money. It's extra. It's like an overdraft, really, right? Yet these buggers in England managed to get this blooming futures fund, which I wasn't entitled to. I didn't even look in because I live in Scotland, right? And he was giving away free money. That's what was happening. Right, okay. Hello, is that Adrian? Oh yeah, I'll meet you at the bar tonight. Can you get that company set up, please, as quickly as possible? Get onto your legal evil and get it set up, and we'll have the money in your account before the end of the day. How's about that? Is that good? Then we'll go to the bar. You couldn't make it up.
Basically, what happened.
You honestly couldn't make it up. You just couldn't make it up. And it's even you go before that, right? Was do you remember the cargo ships, right? One of the Tory MPs he was a cabinet member, and he said that he'd actually taken on the services of this company to do like moving of goods and drugs and all the rest of it, right? And they didn't own a single boat. They didn't even own a rowing boat.
Oh, that was the Reigate ferry scandal, where the company that could get £3 million was actually a pizza fucking menu.
We're laughing, but we shouldn't be laughing.
You're right, we shouldn't have. Because the £3 million that they took was nothing. Reigate had spent millions on dredging the harbour and all that, and they didn't have roll-on, roll-off capacity anyway. What a bloody madness!
Yeah. I know you hear David going on about the criminal cabal, right, and the House of Thieves and Carpetbaggers, but it's true, guys. They are criminals. I'm not going to say that every man jack that's down there in the Tory party is a crap, but the thing is, though, within the Tory party is this kernel of crooks, simple as that, And at the moment, there's a lot of the Tory MPs, so I've heard, are saying that really we should be allowing a general election to take place so we can step back and let Labour try and sort the mess out.
I said that in my report on Tuesday, David. Labour don't really want an election right now. They need the recession to hit before the Tory government collapses. That's very important.
So why do you think they put back this statement to the 17th? I've got my own theory on this. Either they're busy doing a last minute deal with the American health insurance firms, and they're going to come out with a big statement about the NHS, or they're going to run a general election.
Nah, neither.
Right.
What they're looking for is a budget, because although they're calling it a mid-term fiscal statement, it's going to be another budget.
Yeah.
And they're looking for a budget that could be palatable to the people. And what we need today, when the fiscal announcement is made, the mid-term fiscal announcement is made in November, is make sure we get through it line for line.
Right.
I mean, when I put a broadcast, I'll pick out the headline parts of a budget and say this is the bit that applies to you people. What we really need to look at this time is the small print.
Yeah.
And I mean the small print.
Yeah.
Because this stuff is going to be deadly.
Right. If you consider for a moment that the UK is broken and beyond any form of economic repair, that goes for both the Tories and Labour. Neither of those two parties can fix that without doing something devastating, like bringing in health insurance for the NHS. Therefore, there's no further funding goes to the NHS.
Hold on, I'm going to mention this and I'm going to answer your point there, right? Do you think they crashed the pound so American health companies could get the US and UK NHS at their cash level much cheaper? Probably. That wasn't the one I was going to talk about.
You, at the moment, it's all guesswork. It's as good a guess as any.
I just couldn't guess any, but I think it'd be a wee bit slower than that, to be honest with you.
Well, but the thing is, though, the Tories have brought in the big ball statement before, right? Remember Sunak with the furlough? He came in to House of Commons. Nobody knew this was coming. They announced furlough. He's going to pay 80% of everybody's wages. And everybody went, well, right, okay. I think the thing about the American health insurance companies, that's on the cards. That's got to be on the cards.
Listen, that and scrapping the state pension. I've spoken about this for years. The auto enrolment when you start a job is their way of getting rid of the state pension.
Yeah.
I said this years ago when it was introduced.
Yeah.
And I found, and me as a freelance driver, auto enrolment's been a pain in the arse for me. Because I've got 6 months pension with this one, 2 years with that one, 3 years with that one.
Yeah.
I've got to go and fucking hunt them all down and hope that the cost of running that fund while I wasn't paying into it hadn't depleted my money. Mr. Rezone and naughty steps, 50 lines and all, you must not be late.
Right.
I mean, let's get back to it. I mean, Sunak's just another con man.
Yeah. Okay.
He's another, and he even looks like a used car salesman. For somebody that's worth 700 million quid, the guy looks like a used car salesman. A sneak oil salesman. I wouldn't sit with him for a coffee, never mind anything else. Yeah. And he also looks like Roland Rat, which is quite funny.
I mean, that's the thing. If you look at the difference between him and Bojo, right? I saw Bojo waving at the cameras as he got back, getting off the airplane, right? And his arm was held up, so therefore his big belly took command, right? And his shirt lifted right out of his trousers, right? So you had the big belly hanging across one side, and that's Bojo. He's a bloody mess, right? But then you've got Mr. Sunak coming in, right? Dead smooth, coiffed and coiffured, right? And he is a criminal. That's it. End of.
Hey, but you want to know? You see my Prime Minister's question, that nice shirt he had on, it was too fucking tight for him. He's trying to show off his bulge and his muscles. Then Vladimir Putin, you know. Yeah, can't do that, I've got man boobs. But no, but to get back to the seriousness of it, when I say the House of Thieves and Carpetbaggers, I mean that. I mean, if you look at wee Govies activities over the last 12 years, transferring all the public school deeds to the private sector, people are getting the idea how deeply corrupt this shower.
Yeah, I mean, let's take that in isolation. Let's say we managed somehow to get the Serious Fraud Office. Let's say we managed to get the Serious Fraud Office to go and grab a hold of Gov and start doing investigations into them, right? Could that be seen as being criminal behaviour? He's basically taking something that's in the ownership of the British people, right? And there is a title deed for a particular school, and he then signs that for the government and therefore for the people over to the new board of the school, right?
Right.
Can that be considered criminal, David? Really?
It should.
And
it still has to sign away. But of course, their excuse for it is that you voted them in today what they're doing.
That's the point. That is the crucial point of it all. Whereas when we go back to the ABN AMRO thing, right, that was definitely criminal behaviour.
Yep, it was deliberate criminal behaviour. Sunak's father-in-law set about bringing down the fourth biggest institution on the planet.
Yeah.
Because the SNP had come to power, and the Royal Bank of Scotland would have became our central bank.
Yeah.
So it had to be destroyed.
Fair enough. Okay, we've got an investment bank now sitting waiting in the sidelines, waiting to go. So it hasn't cost us as a people that much. However, his criminality and his criminal nature going forward.
Take a step back. It hasn't cost us as a people very much. That financial crash in 2008 mortgaged future generations £40,900 each.
Yes, the crash did.
Fucking infinity.
But not particularly the Royal Bank of Scotland. The Royal Bank of Scotland could have gone tits up. But it wouldn't have made a difference to you, me, or anybody watching here, right? Because it's a business. That's what they are. They're a business.
And being the guarantee fund, so you and I would only lose 15% of our money, 85% it would have been guaranteed by the government anyway. So it should have been allowed to crash. It was cheaper.
Yeah, of course it was. And that was the mistake of Darling and Brown.
Was that a mistake?
What they did by putting in funds into that nationwide is they started a ball rolling. Doing that.
I need to put this one up with Mr. E because we've not got long to go, and this a wee bit of comedy is necessary in life. Whoever it is that's on the wooden throne, someone else has their hand up their ears. Thanks, Mr. E. That was worth a chuckle. Listen, some of the stuff that's been on in the last 12 years has been outrageous.
Yeah. Correct.
The level of criminality that we've watched from an elite who are protecting themselves, which is great. You still not caught that fly yet?
No, I've still not caught that bloody fly.
Mr. Miyagi, you've no chance of catching that, you old duffer.
Wax on, wax off, right, okay.
Anyway, you get what I'm saying is, the Tory party are all about protecting the Tory party.
Yeah.
Or the elite. They've all got sponsors, as you know. Right, and they're all doing well with these sponsors by raping the British public, and I hate using that word, but we may as well, raping the UK public.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, you can't use the term UK because it only applies to two parts of the UK, Scotland and England.
Yeah.
Sorry, it only applies to two countries in the British Isles, Scotland and England. So. Northern Ireland was an afterthought, but that's a separate treaty.
Don't say that when Fiona's listening.
Sorry?
Don't say that when Fiona's listening.
Fiona would explain it better than I do. It's why the passport says the United Kingdom and Northern Ireland.
Yes, I know. Great Britain.
Yeah. I mean, the criminal cabal, some of the stunts of in the last 12 years have been phenomenal. And how they've got away with it is absolutely hilarious. I mean, if we look at the virus situation, because we've got to be careful what we say here. Right?
I know.
Davies pointed out the obvious when the virus started. We live in the middle of the sea. Yeah. These people deliberately looked at created the deaths of 205,000, 207,000 people. Yeah. And that's not counting the 330,000 people they've killed to austerity. If that's no genocide, David, then I'm reading the definition of genocide wrong.
Yeah. You look at countries like New Zealand, and they had relatively few deaths through the virus, right?
Iceland, Faroes, all the islands.
They're all islands.
Australia's a big island. Look at how low their death count was.
Yeah. And, you know, my goodness me, why couldn't we have just voted yes in 2014? Then we could have watched it all happening for the northern side of a 17-foot high border fence in relative comparative safety, and went, oh, look what's happening now. Well, it's happening to us, guys.
Well, we newsflash just in. Apparently, Jeremy Hunt is to ditch Boris Johnson's 250 million Brexit Britain ship. 250 million? Wow, somebody's not got an idea of how much Brexit cost.
Yeah. It's a lot more than that. I need to look it up, but I know it's a lot more than that.
Well, the divorce was sitting at 40 billion last time I looked, but I believe it's rising to 60 billion.
It's not even the money. It's the human damage that's taking place. People across our country, across England, and all the rest of it, right, are sitting thinking, oh, I'll be all right, I'll get through this, and all the rest of it.
Oh, no, this one's brilliant. Are they building the fence when we get in? They know we are.
Yeah.
We're building the fucking fence. Sorry for profanity, but we're in 17 foot's no high enough.
Yeah.
We're building the fence because the collapse of society down that road means we're going to have millions of people trying to get into Scotland.
Well, all it takes is for Scotland to start reporting successes, and some of the truths about actually what we're earning off of hydrocarbon tax and VAT and all the rest of it, right? That the UK Treasury are just not able to give us. They know how much it is, but they're just not going to give us the information, right? And I think if that gets out and becomes common knowledge, and it won't become common knowledge from south of the border, it'll become common knowledge from north of the border. Because remember, lots of us have relatives and friends that live south of the border. And when we start commenting on how well we're doing, and they start looking at how dreadful England's doing, I'll tell you what, seriously, we're going to end up with a queue at the borders. We're going to have to manage it.
Jerry, 50 likes to go along with the notice.
And 10 press-ups.
10 press-ups. Yeah, it's starting to introduce your own punishments now, David.
We are not fascists. We're not fascists, I can assure you.
Oh, I don't know. I hope we're no fascists.
Stephen's put up, we might have to move the border to Newcastle. Do you know something? That's the one thing I've had regular online all the time is we're going to rebuild Hadrian's Wall. And all I do is I answer them, oh, you're going to give us Newcastle Airport? That's really
That's right. People forget that it's 14 miles south of the border. No, but we are definitely going to need a border. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. Yes, we have to. Do you know something? I've always said this. You know, even to my neighbours, look, I'm not putting a fence up because I've got a problem with you, right? I'm putting a fence up because it benefits the both of us. It says that I'm going this far and I'm going no further, and you're going that far and you're going no further, and that's it. And allows us to, to have our own wee space, right? It's exactly the same with a border fence. It benefits both countries.
Well, because one of the interesting things about borders, David, and I'm going to be extremely boring here. One of the interesting things about borders is there's always a no man's land between them.
Yes, that's right. In actual fact, I've driven through where the border is. Welcome to Scotland, and welcome to England. You drive you drive, was it 150 yards or something like that? Or is it more than that?
It's a wee bit more than that.
Yeah.
I think it's almost 3/4 of a mile actually.
Yeah.
You bypass the petrol station, I think, before you hit that.
That's right. That's right.
Before you hit the Welcome to England sign. And
Yeah.
there's always a no man's land there. And that's to give you space for talking.
Yeah.
That's to give you space for talking.
What do we do with the people that live there?
Hey, I don't know. Ask about the reavers. Hey, whose law applies? The guy in the south or the guy in the north? Sorry, the people in the south and the people in the north can't use misogynist terms.
Yes. Right. So, okay. I think, to be honest with you, the Sunak thing we have covered, right? But I'm going to say the same to you as I did when we did the Jeremy Hunt talk last week. Is that if you find out anything new that comes along regarding Rishi Sunak or Jeremy Hunt, then for goodness sake, I'm going to get second sight. The only way I learn is through reading. And the same with David, right? If you get something, you get it to us, for goodness sake, and we will include it in one of our chats. I promise. And if it's that good, we'll have you and put it on the chat. How's about that?
Right. I know that's a fair point, David, because you can only cover so much. I mean, I find myself spread very thin trying to keep up with public affairs in Scotland, England, Wales, and Northern Ireland, as well as what I do put in my daily show out.
Yeah.
I don't think people realise how much goes into that.
Yeah. And also that there'll be the times when you don't cover something as thoroughly as you should because you're being spread so thin.
Aye, but I mean that's a great thing about the two Davies shows because I'm busy 5 days a week doing the research for the other one, so you get to do the research for this one, then we can spend our afternoons getting up to speed.
Yeah.
But we can't get everything.
I mean, I spend a lot of time on this format that we maybe don't go live.
But
David used to do it to me. He used to click the button without me seeing. I see the numbers in the centre of the screen that goes 3, 2, 1, and I know what he's up to. I didn't know what he was up to at the start. But anyway, there you go.
But we really do need your help, folks. If you've got an expertise in an area that we don't, because we are having to spread ourselves thin, then come along and have a chat with us. We'll put you on.
Yeah.
Bring your subject to the table, and we'll try and put it out there.
You've seen that we've had other guests on with us. It's not that arduous, and just to come on for 5 minutes and make your point, that's all it's required. So it's nice seeing all the comments, but sometimes it'd be nice just to have one or two of you pulled out of there and put actually into the as a guest on the show.
Discussion, yep. What's interesting about the comments, David, you and I had a rammy about this yesterday, didn't we? We were Annie.
Oh yeah, no, I binned Annie Aitken because she was trolling and putting up blooming division, right? And I thought I was doing the right, but David blooming gave me a haranguing after the show. He said, let them police themselves. And I went, right, fine, okay, so that's how it's going to be. We're going to ignore the trolls. On our part, we're going to ignore the trolls, and we're going to leave you lot to sort them out. All right?
No, but that's not it, David. As I was explaining, the audience, as it's grown, has become a community.
Yeah.
And they police themselves.
Yeah.
So we don't have to censor our audience. They can censor themselves.
Yeah.
And I don't believe in censorship anyway. Neither do you, even though we've been accused of it in the past.
I have hit the delete key from time to time, but it's just where somebody's being stupid. You know what I mean?
Hey, but listen, we all get angry at stupidity. That's why I rant. I mean, when I look down that road and see their basic misunderstanding of economics.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds a bit daft coming from a truck driver, but it's true. You know, when I see their basic misunderstanding of the market when they come in with free marketeers, it just drives me round the twist, so that makes me rant.
Yeah.
You know, and when I see human suffering, which isn't necessary, it makes me rant.
That's the one that gets me. Is if I know that people are going to suffer as a result of X, Y, Z, that's what really gets under my skin. You know, so.
You know, I'm going to bring this one up for our English cousins. And I mean this sincerely, and I'm going to say something on it. No, that's not the one I wanted to put up. That's the one I wanted to put up. She thinks John was upset last week at being called a foreigner. I want to set this straight on the record. Last time I looked, England was its own country. And Scotland was its own country. Wales is a principality. Northern Ireland's a province. You can take it whatever way you want. But when you live in one country and you visit another country, by the definition of that, you are a foreigner.
Yeah.
You are a person from a different land in a different land. You are a foreigner. It's not a derogatory term. It's a description of the fact that your land and my land are two different lands. That's all it is. It's not a derogatory term. So if John was upset, John, if you're watching today, I'm sorry, mate.
Yeah.
We don't mean to upset you.
But also, you've got to understand, John is a classic troll.
From your point of view, David, he is. From my point of view, he's just somebody stimulating a conversation in the comments.
What he does is, we're discussing X, Y, Z, and he throws a dead cat on the table. You won't have enough money to go and keep yourselves.
But, David, he's not throwing that dead cat on the table for us. He's throwing the dead cat on the table for the conversation that's going on in the community that's grown up around about. As we spoke about yesterday, vlogging and blogging. Vlogging and blogging are two different things. And in vlogging, especially when you have live comments, then you have a community there that are entitled to hold the discussion in the sidebar where we discuss the subject. I know you think it's detracting from what we are doing, but it's not really, because they have a rewind button if they miss something.
Well, it's up to you, what? Get them.
No, it's not up to them getting them. It's up to the community that grows up around vloggers and bloggers to police themselves.
Yeah.
Right, but I'm glad we had this wee bit of conversation away from Sunak at the end here, when we talk about the fantastic people who tune in and who have an interest in what we have to say. Because as I say, as you know, I've been at this for about 6 years now, so I've watched the community build up around about what I say. Mm-hmm. Right, and you're new to this side of things.
Very new.
But your voice is very important, and we need more of the audience to come forward and join the conversation. We have space for up to 6 people.
David, we'll take that a stage further, right? Okay. If I'm going to set the bar here, right? Okay. If any of you find out anything that's worth putting in, right, then obviously the days that we go live, which is a Thursday and a Sunday, right? And just all you need to do is PM us. You can get onto either of our timelines on Facebook and send us a simple message. I would like to come in and speak on your next chat show, right? And we're up for it. We're also up for people setting up their own YouTube setup so that people can do what we're doing.
Which Siobhan we're doing. Yeah. We need more content.
Yeah.
Giving our point of view and telling the truth to the people of Scotland. David and I, as we say, we're pretty well spread thin.
Yeah.
We've got all the Facebook groups, we've got our research in certain areas, and I've got my daily show. David's got his business to run.
Yeah.
So, your help, guys. You still know what that bloody fly. You're no Mr. Miyagi. So, listen, it was really interesting
Life went by me going,
What's more important is that you get your face out there.
Yeah.
This stuff is not just interactive. It actually shows the heart of Scotland as each person speaks, whether we agree or disagree. Right, David, we're getting to the end of the show.
Yep.
We've been on an hour. It's been a good one, I think.
Yep, enlightening. One thing to put in for me, I'll be travelling abroad tomorrow, and when I get to the place I'm going to, I'll need to see what the Wi-Fi is like, because if you lot think I'm spending money on doing it through my mobile network, no chance, right? But if there's decent Wi-Fi, I'll be on this Sunday and I'll do the show on the Sunday. All right. But if not,
we'll know about it. We'll know about it before, and we'll stick the.
Yeah, we'll know about it tomorrow.
Saying it's not possible because Davies is in a different location.
Yeah. Okay. So I've got my bucket and spade all packed, all ready to go. I'm going to spend the next week building sandcastles, thinking about Rishi Sunak, as you do, right, and Jeremy Hunt, and what I could do to get rid of them. Maybe I could build a few sand traps. Yeah, how's about that? With sticks, things like that, sticking up.
If that was your wife, I'd fucking divorce you, because taking you on holiday, I thought you'd be thinking about her. Why do you think I've got a big cabin at the back of the house? Listen, it's alright if a man cave. I mean, I've got an office where I disappear, aren't I? But I can't imagine going on holiday to think about fucking Rushi Sunak and Jeremy Hunt. I'll be going on holiday thinking about the dragon. Right, listen, folks, it's been great having you on this afternoon. Remember, if you're on YouTube, hit the like button, hit the bell notification button so you can notify when we go live, and hit subscribe, please. Okay, and whether you're on YouTube or Facebook, if you like what it is we do, then please share it around. It's important that you decimate the information that we're giving out if you think it's worthy of decimation. Right, okay. So, David, there's only one thing left to do, and that is... Bye, David. Bye, David. Bye, Dragon. Bye, Dragon. Bye, Dragon.